Yes.
Okay. This is trying to make it simple to understand the courts, where you have a human being, a live human being, and a piece of fiction. And a good way to walk into court and look at some court cases as they're happening would be to go to a DUI case, because simply a piece of paper, a fiction, cannot have a blood alcohol content of 0.08. It can never drink. So they need a live human being to admit that it has a blood alcohol content. It willfully committed a crime of drinking and driving in commerce. So they need the human being to make a few statements that he acknowledges the crime with the blood alcohol content. And once that is admitted, then the defense attorney takes over, and they do an acting job of defending the defendant. It doesn't mean nothing at that point. But now they're going to marry the codes to the human being. They're going to violate the rights of the human being to migrate, because now they have the testimony of a live human that he had a blood alcohol content, and now they're going to marry it to a fiction, the all caps name, a company that is being used for code for commerce. And when you go watch the DUI cases, it becomes very evident the wrangling that has to happen. So the defendant is sitting there quietly, listening to the proceedings, and then the judge starts asking questions. You understand you're accused of the crime of driving under the influence of alcohol. And then when you admit, yes I do, you've just admitted willfulness to a crime. Driving and traveling are two different terms. If you are not being employed and you're intoxicated, there's nothing in the territorial laws that says you can't have a bottle of whiskey on a horse, a bottle of whiskey on a wagon, a bottle of whiskey in a motor vehicle. But when you offer the testimony of being willfully breaking the law, and then they have a blood alcohol content that you submitted to, and they ask you, or you agree that you have a blood alcohol content of 0.08 or higher, and you said yes, you just admitted. Now they do not need the testimony of a human anymore. Now it's all back to the fiction. Now it's all contracts again. The person, okay, the natural person made his testimony of guilt, and now the person takes over, and now you're not needed. The defense attorney, the prosecutor, and the judge, they seal the fate, and that's the conviction. So understanding and separating the human being from the corporation, the all caps name, is one of the defenses you can use. So understand the quote straw man, the fiction. Understand separation of the live human versus the fiction, and try not to use an attorney. Go in there and do your own defense. There's lots of laws on the books: Shapiro versus Thompson, Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, and when they cannot use the codes to violate your rights, especially in migration. Title 18, Chapter 13, Section 241, 242, the use of these RCW codes to take away your rights is a crime. They are committing them. So understand what these are, and you have a defense, a really good defense.